everyone. Ready to dive into some seriously smart ways to make money while you're conquering those college classes?
I am so ready. Let's do it.
We're talking beyond the typical part-time gig people. We're going deep into the strategies that can actually make a difference in your wallet.
Because who wants to graduate with empty pockets and a mountain of student debt? Not us.
This deep dive, we're taking cues from 17 Magazine, always a go-to for practical advice, right?
For sure. And we've also got Shopify Singapore in the mix. Love their entrepreneurial spirit.
And you know, it's cool. Both sources are all about using what you've already got to your advantage.
Exactly. Like that whole work smarter, not harder philosophy. That's what we're talking about.
You're already swimming in a sea of resources just by being in college. Time to tap into that potential.
It's like having a superpower you never knew about. And trust me, those superpowers can pay off big time.
Okay, so first up, dog walking apps. Rover, Wag. You've probably heard of them.
Who doesn't love the idea of getting paid to hang out with adorable pups? Sign me up.
Right. But, and this is important, 17 does mention those platform fees. Gotta factor those into your rates.
Definitely. Got to make sure you're actually making a profit, not just funding those app developers.
Now, this next one's for all my fellow note-takers out there. Apparently, selling your used textbooks and class notes is a thing.
Wait, really? Like people will actually pay for our scribbles and study guides?
They totally will. But 17 does recommend double-checking your college's policy on note selling, just to be safe.
Good point. Wouldn't want to accidentally break any academic rules while we're out here hustling.
Now, for all you social media wizards out there,
Which, let's be honest, is pretty much everyone these days.
true. 17 actually talks about how local businesses are desperate for people with social media management skills.
They're practically begging for that Gen Z magic touch. And let's be real, we grew up with this stuff. It's practically in our DNA.
Right. So why not get paid to do what comes naturally? Turn those scrolling skills into dollar bills.
Seriously, if you can make a killer TikTok or craft the perfect Instagram caption, there's money to be made.
And this actually ties into a bigger theme both sources emphasized, turning your existing skills into cold, hard cash.
Like, what are you already good at? What do you actually enjoy doing? Now find a way to make it rain.
Exactly. We're talking tutoring, freelance work, even monetizing those hobbies you'd probably be doing anyway.
Work smarter, not harder, right?
You know what else got me really fired up? Both 17 and Shopify stress the importance of investing early.
Yes. Compound interest is like that magical fairy dust that makes your money grow while you sleep.
Seriously, 17 actually breaks down how even a small investment can snowball over time.
It's mind-blowing. Like, imagine investing just a few $100 and having it turn into thousands down the road.
I know, right? It's like, why didn't anyone tell us this sooner?
Seriously. We could have been mini moguls by now.
Okay, but real talk for a second. I know what you're thinking. Easy for you to say, invest early, when I can barely afford ramen.
I feel you. But both sources were adamant that you don't need a trust fund to get started.
Even putting aside a few bucks here and there adds up over time, especially when you've got that precious commodity on your side.
Time is money, my friend. And speaking of money, 17 introduced me to this thing called a Roth IRA. I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's basically like a retirement account designed specifically for young people.
And the best part, any money you contribute grows tax-free. That's right. You only pay taxes on what you put in initially.
Huge. It's like a secret weapon for building long-term wealth. Now, 17 does mention not to raid your Roth IRA for, like, spring break or anything.
Yeah, there are penalties for early withdrawals.
But for that money you're stashing away for the future, game changer.
Absolutely. Okay, but let's be real. Manually investing money every month, sometimes it feels like a chore.
I hear you. That's why I love this app that 17 mentioned called Acorns. It's basically micro-investing made ridiculously easy.
Micro-investing.
Yeah, so it rounds up your everyday purchases to the nearest dollar and invests that spare change for you.
Wait, so like that extra 50 cents for my morning coffee just magically becomes an investment?
Pretty much. It's awesome. You barely even notice it, but over time, those pennies can add up to serious dough.
Whoa. Okay, I'm sold. Where do I sign up?
Right. It's like magic, but with money.
Love it.
Remember that whole turning skills into cash thing? Well, the 17 had this awesome story about a woman named Deborah Golden.
Oh, yeah. What'd she do? Bottle up some secret sauce for success.
Kinda. She actually talked about how she struggled with coding early on in college.
Coding. Oof, that's a tough one. I took an intro class once, and let's just say it wasn't pretty.
Well, Deborah actually ended up getting help from a tutor. which is pretty cool because then she became a tutor.
Whoa, talk about turning a weakness into a strength and a side hustle.
Right. So she was boosting her own coding skills while helping others and making money. Triple win.
See, now that's what I'm talking about. Finding those win-win-win situations makes those late-night study sessions feel a little less painful, right?
Totally. Okay, ready for a side hustle spotlight that's near and dear to my heart. Sneakers.
Sneakers. Wait, like selling them.
You got it. 17 interviewed this sneakerhead who actually flips kicks for a profit.
Get out. So it's not just about rocking the coolest shoes, it's about knowing the value behind those kicks.
Exactly. It's like having a secret decoder ring for the sneakerverse, knowing which shoes are in demand, where to find those limited editions.
When to buy, when to sell. It's like playing the stock market, but with sneakers. That's actually genius.
Right. And you know what I love about this? It combines passion with profit. You get to geek out about something you already love and make money from it.
Okay, so for those of us who wouldn't know a Yeezy from a pair of Crocs, what's the secret sauce to breaking into the sneaker reselling game?
Well, 17 says it all starts with research and not just Googling expensive sneakers.
Yeah, you got to go deeper than that. What are those iconic models, the history, the stories behind them?
Exactly. You've got to become a student of the sneaker game.
So it's like a part-time education in itself, but hey, at least the tuition is paid for in limited edition sneakers.
Right. Okay, so sneakers might not be everyone's jam, but both 17 and Shopify were packed with ideas for monetizing hobbies.
Oh, I'm all ears. Let's hear it.
Well, Shopify highlighted this huge trend of people selling handmade goods online. Etsy, anyone.
Etsy.
Yes, I love that platform. So many creative people, so many unique finds.
Right. Imagine turning your dorm room into a mini crafting empire.
Late night study breaks, fueled by creativity and the promise of Etsy stardom.
Exactly. And the cool thing is you can sell pretty much anything. Handmade jewelry, knitted scarves, those quirky phone cases everyone seems to want.
Oh, and speaking of phone cases, Shopify also mentioned that digital products are having a moment. Like, what even is a digital product?
Right. It sounds kind of futuristic, but it's actually pretty simple. Think printable art, downloadable study guides, social media templates.
Okay, so basically, if you've got design skills, photography skills, even just mad organizational skills, you can package that knowledge into a digital product.
Exactly. And the beauty of digital products is that you create them once, and they can keep selling over and over again. Passive income, now that's the dream.
Right. Okay, so we've talked about turning hobbies into hustles, but let's get back to the freelance world for a sec. Shopify had some really specific suggestions that I thought were super helpful.
Hit me with those freelance gems. I'm always down for a good side hustle.
Well, they mentioned a huge demand for content creators. Think blog posts, website copy, articles.
So basically, if you can string a sentence together, there's work out there for you.
Pretty much. And for the visual folks, graphic design is always in high demand.
Logos, social media graphics. Hey, maybe I could even design some cool graphics for my Etsy shop.
See? It all comes full circle. Oh, and for the tech-savvy listeners out there, IT support is another area where freelancers are killing it.
You know, this whole conversation is making me think that learning to code in college is basically like investing in a superpower.
Right. Coding is like the Swiss Army knife of skills these days.
But even if you're not a coding whiz, the key takeaway here is about identifying your strengths and passions and then figuring out creative ways to monetize them.
Exactly. Work smarter, not just harder, right?
Preach. Okay, so we've covered side hustles, freelance gigs, even the world of sneakers. What else is there?
Well, before we wrap up this deep dive, we have to talk about something that can make all the difference when it comes to career success. Mentorship.
Okay, mentorship. That's huge. It's amazing how much a little guidance can make a difference when you're just starting out.
Right. And what's cool is that both 17 and Shopify really emphasize that mentorship isn't just about getting your foot in the door for that first job. It's bigger than that.
Totally. It's about building those long-term connections, finding people who can offer advice, support.
Exactly. And maybe introduce you to their equally awesome network of people.
It's like having a secret weapon or like a cheat code for life.
I love that. Okay, so how do we actually find these mentors? Because it can feel a little intimidating, right? Like, where do you even start?
Right. It's not like mentors just magically appear when you clap your hands 3 times.
I wish. But seriously, both articles had some great advice for actually finding mentors.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, one common theme was leveraging your existing network.
Existing network, so like people you already know.
Exactly. Talk to your professors, your family friends, that cool boss you had at your summer job.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I bet my aunt knows a ton of people. She's like a networking ninja.
Right. And 17 specifically mentioned reaching out to your friends' moms.
Friends' moms. That's kind of brilliant.
Right. They've probably got amazing stories, career advice, and tons of connections.
Okay, I'm adding that to my to-do list. Call my friend's mom. Check. What else?
Don't underestimate the power of networking events, career fairs, even online communities like LinkedIn.
True. LinkedIn can be a gold mine. So many professionals, so many potential mentors just waiting to be discovered.
Exactly. And remember, mentorship is a two-way street. Be ready to offer something in return.
Totally. Whether it's your time, your skills, even just your unique perspective.
Exactly. Think of it as a mutually beneficial partnership. Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground today.
My brain is officially overflowing with ideas.
I
In a good way.
Mine too. It's amazing how many opportunities are out there if you know where to look.
It's all about being resourceful, creative, and maybe even a little bit scrappy.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So, to wrap up this deep dive, let's hit those key takeaways one last time. Number 1, you've got skills. Don't underestimate what you bring to the table.
Yes. Whether it's coding, graphic design, or even just killer organization skills, those are valuable.
Number 2, start investing early. Even if it's just a few bucks here and there, your future self will thank you.
Compound interest is our new best friend.
And finally, number 3, find your people. Surround yourself with mentors, supportive friends, fellow hustlers.
Because success is always sweeter when you've got your squad cheering you on.
Couldn't agree more. And with that inspiring thought, we've reached the end of another deep dive. Until next time, happy hustling.